Welcome again to Joe's Style of Boxing. I want to just talk briefly about an issue that a lot of people have mentioned, um, and that is that Tyson Fury apparently, in their opinion, is looking nervous um, during fight week. I'm recording this on the Thursday, which is the 16th, so we've got approximately 48 hours to go to the fight. People are saying, yeah, he looks nervous, and this is a bad thing. Okay, well, for the sake of this argument, for the sake of this video, I'm going to say that he is nervous. Let's presume he is nervous, and the question, of course, is this a bad thing? Well, first of all, is it unusual for a fighter to feel nervous before a fight? Absolutely not. You're going into the ring to exchange blows with someone with an extremely, you could say, career-defining potential 36 minutes of boxing ahead. You're in there with a guy who is very good, regardless of what you say in public. You're in there with a guy who can put you in hospital, possibly even kill you. You'd probably have to be some sort of psychopath not to feel nerves of some sort. Or you'd have to be someone who would perhaps be better as a bomb disposal expert, or I don't know, some sort of undercover, detective trying to infiltrate the Russian mob or something like that. You'd have to have ice water in your veins. Now, I think probably Fury is nervous, and you know what? I think probably Usyk is nervous. But the question, of course, is how do you control your nerves? How do you control your fear, perhaps? Because as with life goes boxing, if you're able to control your emotions, you will succeed in life. You'll probably succeed in life, unless you can only control emotions because you don't have them, which, again, we're back to psychopathy or sociopathy, perhaps. But I think that it's perfectly natural for Fury to feel nervous. I think in the past, if you look at the past, he has been in the hot seat, the hot ring, if you like, on many, many occasions, and he has handled it in an exemplary manner. He went over to Dusseldorf. He beat Klitschko. Regardless of how old Klitschko was, Fury went over there, he beat him, and Klitschko's mob tried everything to try and, the spongy ring and everything, to try and put him off, as they did with every single heavyweight title challenger. Tried to treat him like a second-class citizen. Peter Fury was in charge of the crew at the time. He wasn't taking any nonsense. He never would. And he did it with Wilder. Having lost all that weight, come back, first fight, took on Wilder, who at the time was considered to be a ferocious, proposition, undefeated. All but one of his fights ended in knockout. Had Fury on the floor twice. Fury got up. Yeah, there was that incredible resurrection moment in the last round. And also, there are other pressures as well. So in the case of Fury, I would say that the thing he values most is his undefeated record. As much, if not more so, than the heavyweight title itself. I think he's got it in his head, if I retire undefeated, no one can ever dispute my outlandish claims that I'm the greatest heavyweight of all time, which he isn't. He clearly isn't. His resume is nowhere near the resume of several of the historical heavyweight champions. But he is a very, very good fighter. And he does handle pressure, that immense mental pressure, very, very well. And he's proved it in the past. Now, the next question would be, is there anything different about this particular fight that means he might not be able to handle the pressure? Okay, well, I think this is a more interesting question, because definitely I think he's in against the best opponent of his career. Somebody who is, if he's not at his peak, Usyk, then he's very close to it. He's not too far over that, that summit. He might be on the downside, but it's not that much on the downside. So that in itself is added pressure. He's not a 40-year-old Klitschko. He's not a Wilder who, and both, I'm not diminishing Fury's victories over these guys, but he's not a Deontay Wilder who is probably about 50 pounds in natural weight less than Fury. He's a guy who is smaller because everyone who fights Fury is smaller. They all are. Fury is just a naturally huge man. But he's somebody who's got a skill set, the likes of which Fury will never have seen. And again, Fury himself has a skill set, as he's proven in the past. But there's a question in his head, there's a question in everyone's head. Is it comparable to Oleksandr Usyk's? Can Fury negate what Usyk's doing and impose his skill set on Usyk and vice versa? That's a question mark. And Fury can say, yeah, of course I can. Of course I can do that. He doesn't know until he's actually done it. He may believe that he can do it, but until you've actually gone and done something, there's always a question mark in the back of your mind. Okay? And for Usyk as well. I mean, all of this stuff applies to Usyk, but people have mentioned Fury being nervous, hence the reason I'm concentrating on Fury. There's also the question that Tyson himself, this may be a question in his mind. Having looked so appalling against Ngannou, has losing all that weight and structuring your body into something that at least cosmetically looks great, is that going to be enough against someone as good as Usyk? Or are you yourself on the downside of your career a lot further down the mountain than you perhaps realize? All right. So that question may be giving him a couple of sleepless nights. Again, he may believe, no, I'm fine. I'm not shot at all. I'm nowhere near to being shot. In fact, I'm pretty much as good as I always was. He may believe that's the case. But again, you must get into the ring and you must prove it. And, he's either going to be proven wrong or not. I mean, it's as simple as that. But you can't know it until you've done it. Now, what makes these guys, whether it's Usyk, Fury, anyone, Joshua, you name them, anyone from history, what makes these guys so special? Why the rest of us can only dream of doing what they've done is that they have this unbelievable courage that they can get in the ring under the most strenuous conditions imaginable. In this case, fighting for the undisputed heavyweight title in front of millions upon millions of people watching. How many people are going to watch this fight? How many do you think? I'm not just talking about live. I mean, afterwards, how many are going to, tens upon tens of millions of people are going to watch this fight. They can do this and they can still perform, even if they don't perform to their absolute optimum level, they can still get in there and do it and try to do it. I mean, most of us would, when we got to that room, we'd probably faint. Or we'd probably have a panic attack or something. Fear, again, I repeat, fear is not uncommon in fighters at all. But as you learn the trade, as you spar, you learn the punches, the years flick by, you have your amateur fights and so on, you learn how to deal with that. Because as Adam Booth famously said, during training, boxing is 80% physical and 20% mental. When you get in the ring, it's 80% mental and 20% physical. So I don't think that, assuming that Fury is nervous, yeah, he may well be. But it's how he handles it, and I'm not going to sit here and say I think he'll capitulate and collapse and mentally collapse in the ring. I've seen no evidence of that happening before whatsoever. I have seen evidence of him looking nervous before fights previously. If you look at the third Deontay Wilder fight, he was, during that final press conference, he was screaming and swearing and being profane and, in front of the TV cameras and all the rest of it. He was looking really, really like pent up, like he was almost trying to desperately pump himself up to have this fight. Kind of like John Fury does. It's a sort of toned down version of that. I wasn't toned down on that night, but you know what I mean. You know, with John Fury, with all that bluster, all that roaring, all that barking, that bullying, you get the impression he is trying to convince himself above all others that he is the toughest, 59-year-old man on the planet or whatever, when he probably knows damn well he isn't, or he's probably riddled with doubt about that. Tyson Fury will have learnt that from John, and he may have refined it, because I think he's probably a lot more intelligent than his father. He's certainly by far, there's a universe of difference between his talent in a boxing ring and whatever John Fury hinted at displaying. So it wouldn't surprise me, if during the weigh-in we see a similar sort of shouting match, roaring match from Tyson Fury. But I don't think when he gets in the ring, I don't think he will capitulate, even though he's looked very nervous before in build-ups, during final press conferences, during weigh-ins. When he's got in the ring, he's always performed. And I think we'll see exactly the same thing again. And you know what? I hope he does perform. I want Fury and Usyk to perform to the absolute best of their ability. I want the judges to do their job properly. No naughtiness, no shenanigans, no controversy. We've had enough of that crap. I don't want either guy to fail a PED test. Please, gentlemen, no fail PED tests. Although if you have been cheating, I want you nicked. I want you to fail the PED test. And I think we're going to have a great fight, because this fight deserves to be all that we expect. It will be the first, as they say, the first undisputed champion in the 4-belt era. It's probably going to be 5-belt if you include the IBO, or maybe 6-belt if you include Ring Magazine. I don't know. And the first, it will be regardless of Fury talking about I'm the lineal champion, all that crap, which he never was. This will be the start of a new lineage. All the belts together, therefore the lineage starts now. It didn't exist after Lennox Lewis, because Vladimir Klitschko never had the WBC title. I've been through this so many times. He was never ever the lineal champion, Tyson Fury. But he will be if he beats Usyk on Saturday night. So what do you think about this whole issue, this nerves issue, this topic which a lot of people are talking about? Let me know your opinions. You may agree with me, disagree with me. You may think I've missed out on an important point. Leave it below, of course. And yeah, we're all looking forward to this fight. Look, I'm finally believing, now that we're getting very, very close. Like I say, only as I'm doing this video, there's probably about 48, maybe 50 hours to go. I'm finally beginning to believe it's going to happen. Finally, I'm going to relax a little bit. But let me know your opinions, all right? Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe if you're new to the channel. Spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing, and also hit the like button as well if you don't mind. That would be great. It's free. Takes a second. Nice one. Okay. I'll catch you later. Bye for now.